But one day, I got a catalog in the mail, and I remember it very well. And on the cover of it was a quote from Howard Thurman, and it said that over the heads of her students, Morehouse holds a crown that she challenges them to grow tall enough to wear. Now, I thought that was something, and I opened the brochure, and there was a whole list of it was titled "A Morehouse Man Is," and it would go down the line. It would have a photograph of a Morehouse man and a description of what he was doing. I just thought that must be the baddest place in the world to go to school. And I made up my mind right then and there I was going to go to Morehouse. But the interesting thing is I almost didn't really get to stay at Morehouse, because when I went to Morehouse, I left Houston with $200 in my pocket, a scholarship from the Jones Scholarship in Houston, which was $1,000 a year, I think, and one other small scholarship. And that's all. And my parents put me on the plane with another friend of mine. We grew up together in Houston. We went to Morehouse together. And I got there, and I had no way of paying the tuition, no way of paying for housing. So I got there. They had not assigned me a room, neither he nor I. Now, he had a scholarship. I had not qualified for any of those things because my folks were gainfully employed. And Monday morning of freshman week at 8 o'clock, I was sitting outside of the Office of Financial Aid. And I sat there almost all day waiting to see someone. And I finally got in to see a woman by the name of Jeanette Smith. Jeanette Smith is my personal angel. I went in to talk to her, and she had my file and records. She said, "Well, Mr. Mallett, I don't understand. How are you going to pay for school? You don't have any additional aid besides the scholarships. That will not pay your tuition. Or your parents, and I see your parents, are they helping you go to school?" I said, "Well, no, not really. They'll send me money every month, but no, they were not going to pay the tuition bill." And she closed the folder and she looked at me. She said, "I just don't understand. I don't know how we can help you." And I thanked her for talking to me and seeing me. And she said, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I simply said to her, "I'm going to find a way to go to school here." And I thanked her again, and I walked out of her office. And that night, of course, I was worried about it. I think I probably prayed about it, talked to my roommate about it, said I was going to get up in the morning and go look for jobs. He says, "You can't go look for jobs. You got freshman week," because they allowed me to participate in freshman orientation, assuming that my financial aid package may or may not work out. And if it didn't, that was all I was going to do. So I did that. But on Thursday, this is a long story, but it's an important story. On Thursday, the faculty and staff met the freshman students in a receiving line at the Frederick Douglass Commons. And I was going through the receiving line, and I met the director of financial aid. His name was Whitty Gordon. And when he heard my name, he said, "Robert Mallett, I've heard that name." And he stepped out of the line, pulled me aside, and he said, "My Deputy Director of Financial Aid, Jeanette Smith, was very impressed with you, said you were the politest young man she had seen all day. Why don't you come back to the office tomorrow and we'll see if we can work something out." I was at the office the next morning when it opened, before Mrs. Smith got there. When she got there, she took me in her office. She said, "I think we've worked something out." They gave me a set of loans and a work-study job in the financial aid office. And that is how I was able to pay for my first year of school. And after my first year, I did well enough to qualify for some scholarships, continued to work while I was in college, and took some more loans that they were able to give me. And that's how I made it through Morehouse.